What is the crack, everyone? It's Nathan here, aka the Rambling Kern, and head instructor of Kern School of Combat. So, someone actually asked me this question the other day, and I thought it was a great topic for a video, so hence the video. The question was basically, why are shillelaghs made from blackthorn? And this is one of those really interesting, kind of multifaceted questions where there's no direct answer for this. Now, I'm going to preface this entire video by saying I'm not a stick maker. There are many very talented shillelagh makers in Ireland, and I highly recommend you look at their work. The example I have today is from Liam from the old shillelagh shop. That's just the one I have. There's lots and lots of other really talented makers out there. I really highly suggest you check them out. So just with that preface, I don't make them, but I do have a good understanding of what makes a good fighting stick. And I'm going to also look at this from more of the historical perspective. So just keep that in mind when we come up with when we go through the video itself. So first off, what is blackthorn, and why are they made from blackthorn? So this is a blackthorn stick. Now this is a bit of a shorter one than you'd normally find. I just wanted a big heavy example for really whacking stuff, which is why I have this one. And it's also a nice one for demoing because it doesn't it doesn't go out to the long lengths that other ones do. So there's two really great things that make blackthorn ideal for walking sticks or for fighting sticks. One is that they are very deceptively light. You look at a stick like this and think there's a huge amount of weight in it. This one, even with this big bulb on it, is just shy of 300 grams. Now I have rattan sticks that I use for sparring that are very close to that. In fact, even some of the very light padded sticks we have are only about 200 grams, 200 and a bit grams. So to give you an idea, these are not especially heavy sticks. I think that's a big misconception when you look at something like this and you think, oh wow, that's a big chunky heavy stick. But you look, this thing moves around with quite a lot of ease and quite a lot of aliveness in the hand, even with this big bulb. So I think this is a big misconception that a lot of people make when they go to use a stick like this or buy a stick like this. So they think, oh, I need a big hefty stick to really smash people. You don't. Speed kills with these sort of things, and speed is what you want. The person who hits first is generally going to do that a bit better. So obviously lightness, great, but often light things break. Like we think of a light, flimsy pine broom handle, for example. They break all the time. So the other characteristic that this has is that it's incredibly tough and is incredibly strong. Its density for its size, there is a chart for this. If I can dig it up, I'll put it in the video. But if I can't, basically blackthorn per weight is one of the densest woods around, and especially in this part of the world, making it pretty ideal. But obviously if it's light and dense, it could still snap. So blackthorn actually does have quite a bit of give in it. There's quite a bit of bounce in it. When you actually hit it, there is a little bit of vibration, but the shock of it goes away quite quickly. It's something that you kind of need to just handle one to get the feel of. So those are the reasons why it really makes an ideal fighting stick. Now, that being said, there are other woods out there that make phenomenal fighting sticks. I mean, we look at other fighting traditions around the world. In Japan, for example, oak is very commonly used in a lot of different sticks, and oak is native to Ireland. Ireland was renowned for its oak for large portions of history, so why don't we see more oak sticks? Now we do see that, along with other styles of sticks as well, and we do see various different woods being used, but certain events happen in Ireland that make blackthorn more prevalent and more readily available to the common man. And that's kind of the bit I want to touch on. So Ireland at one point was considered a northern rainforest, essentially. The entire nation was covered in majority very thick forests. And over the years, that was vastly reduced down. Obviously, initially in the Bronze Age and so on, that was reduced due to farming. But as time progresses, certain events really push and progress the nature of that deforestation. So two big events really start to cause the decline of Irish forestry very rapidly. So by about the 16th century, there is still a good portion of the country forested, so in the kind of 20 to 30%. I'll bring up a image, and this is a reconstruction from the 1970s of all the best data that they had to kind of get an idea of the sort of forest cover that was there at the time, and this is what it would have looked like. So that is still quite a big proportion of forest. Now obviously it's dwindled from the kind of coast to coast sort of forestry that we were have references to of earlier periods, but by the 1600s certain events really started to take place that really rapidly start to cause the decline of Irish forests. Two of the biggest ones being the plantations. So for those who don't know, that will be a topic for later videos, but basically there was a process by the Tudors to clear the land and make it suitable for farming, and to, as a result, clear the forest to stop the natives A, having a place to hide, and B, having a place where they can kind of retreat into, and more so for the actual ability to use it as farmland, to get in Scottish and English farmers in to basically plant the lands, hence the term plantations. So these were two of the real major events that started to do that. And then later on you have the Tudor and the Elizabethan Navy coming to Ireland and using a huge amount of timber for supplying the British Navy. Lots of different quotes from the time of English warships being crafted from this. Then by the mid 1600s you have the Great Fire of London. As a result, you have a massive need for a very rapid influx of all types of woods, especially hardwoods like oak, for making new buildings. So as this progresses, with all of the natures of these things happening, and by the time we move into the 19th century, we've gone down to about 1% forest cover in the entirety of Ireland. Now there's a fantastic quote by a Frenchman who was travelling through Ireland during this period, who said you could walk through Ireland and not find enough timber for a toothpick. Now that's kind of paraphrasing it, but that was the essentially the quote, and I think that really goes to show how bad the deforestation had gotten by that point. Now currently we're up to about 11% in Ireland. It's still a very, very long way to go, and there's many different organisations you can donate to if you want to see that increase, and I recommend you do it. Even in today's Ireland, you'd be amazed by how little forest you will see going around the country. So why do I talk so heavily about deforestation? Well, as a result, you didn't have forests, so you didn't have readily available mature trees or new trees with which to go and get the wood that you need for a shillelagh. So that means you don't have oak to make sticks from, you don't have all the other various woods that you could use, ash, hazel and so on. Instead, you are left with essentially roadside bushes that you can harvest from, and that's where blackthorn comes in. So blackthorn, now I know there is farm viewers of the channel. Blackthorn is often seen on roadsides here. Some of the main reasons for that, obviously it grows very well in those sort of rough terrains. There are berries on it, sloe berries, which is where we get sloe gin from. And often a lot of birds eat these, and hence they're spread all across the country. For any of the Irish people who are used to travelling along Irish countryside, you will know that distinctive look of those white leaves in kind of a mid-spring, white flowers that you see in mid-spring all along the Irish roadways. Beautiful sight, and that is blackthorn. So for those who are looking for it, that's the easiest time to find it. Probably not the best time to harvest it, but that's a topic for another video. So as a result, you have 1% forest cover in Ireland at the time where you have the peak of faction fighting. So as a result, you just don't have access for most Irish people for the variety of timbers that you might want to test different sorts of wood for sticks. As a result, you're left with blackthorn. So Irish people get incredibly good at making sticks from blackthorn, and thankfully it's a pretty ideal material to use for it. Now, these are just some of the kind of, like I say, historical reasons as to why blackthorn became prevalent. Obviously, from a craftsman's point of view, very different reasons for that again, and I would defer, the opinions of that to the very talented stick makers that are out there. But I just thought those were some very interesting reasons why you see the kind of prevalence of blackthorn being used in walking sticks and fighting sticks in Ireland, especially in the 19th century. So if you're interested in learning how to use a shillelagh and in Irish stick fighting, I do run a training group here in Dublin. You'll find my contact details below. If you're interested in sponsoring my work, please do let me know. We actually have some very interesting tests coming up with the shillelaghs in the coming months, hopefully coming weeks, all going well, which will be live on the channel. You'll be able to support my work through Patreon. You'll find the link for that in the description as well. And if you can't do any of those things, just a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel. I ask every video because it helps. We're very close to that 2,000 mark, and it really does mean a lot. The support for the channel has been amazing, and I really do appreciate it. Once again, thank you all very much for the support, and slán.